Calabi Yau manifolds could be decisions. There could be infinite, well, they say there's 6 to 11 dimensions, and they're all so small that we can't observe them. That's why we don't observe them. They're so, like, infinitesimally small. If they're all infinitesimally small, but they're all, like, Calabi Yau manifolds, basically, like, these things, where they're, like, twisted upon themselves, if they're that, what if that's every decision we make, we enter a new Calabi Yau manifold? Because there's that whole thing where new worlds are created every time you make a decision. Mm-hmm. Well, what if you make the decision and you enter a new Calabi Yau manifold? There are other dimensions, right? These things are descriptions of other dimensions.
Right.
So what if every time you make a decision, okay, I can't see it right here in this room, so I'm going to put my hand here. Okay, that's a decision. I just entered one of these infinite, they're all over, right? Mm-hmm. Infinite, infinitesimally small. But once you enter it, it gets large. Because it's like twisted upon itself. Look at that thing. Right? It's like twisted upon itself. It's like really small and really large at the same time, and it's really small to us looking at it. But then, like, we make the decision, we enter the manifold or the other dimension, and it like expands for us. And then we're suddenly in that world because that's how we would be. Because I always was like, how are we in infinite dimensions? Like, there's that whole theory we exist. There's me, like we talked about, there's me who's an Elon Musk. How does that exist? Like, where does it exist? It probably exists in one of these things, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I made some decisions or didn't make decisions. I didn't enter those manifolds, those Calabi Yau manifold. Mm-hmm. I either did or didn't enter certain ones.
Yeah.
Based on my decisions. And in those worlds, different things are happening.
Are those each distinct manifolds, or are they part of one single manifold with multiple probabilities?
I think these things are everywhere.
Yeah.
Just like all the dimensions are. Up, down, left, right, time. All the dimensions, depth. They're everywhere at once. They're everywhere. These manifolds are everywhere right now. Because all the math and all the smartest physicists, all the people really studying this, they believe in multi-world theory. Most of them, I think. I don't know. I don't know if that's still fringe. I feel like all the people I watch
think it's becoming mainstream.
Yeah, I feel like all the people I watch believe in it.
Right.
And I think that's very likely. And all the math is the string theory. All the math is coming together, these manifolds, to say that's the way it works. So that's enormous. These manifolds are basically decisions. And they're infinitesimally small and infinitesimally large at the same time. Mm-hmm. That's impossible for our monkey brain to comprehend. We can't. But when you look at that thing, look at it. It's like really twisted upon itself, right?
I wonder.
So can't you see it like being twisted so small at one point, but then later the twist is like, look at it, it's like twisted upon itself.
Yeah.
And then like integrated into itself. Mm-hmm. I don't know how, but logically that seems to me like it could be infinitesimally big too.
Right.
Like at the point you entered, it's infinitesimally small.
Yeah.
And then you get in it, and just due to all those curves and shapes we don't understand, it's like inside infinitesimally big. Mm-hmm. And we know perception is different depending where you are. Like black holes tell us that. We see a guy stuck on the rim, but he sees himself inside.
Right.
We already know that's 100% fact. Mm-hmm. I think what I'm saying is like the perception is different. Like the perception when you're not in that manifold, you don't even see it. It's infinitesimally small.
Mm-hmm.
And then the moment you enter it, boom, you're in that. Like if you just move your hand, you've entered a new manifold.
Right,
And it's
everything
infinitesimal.
you
But
do.
you can't see it right there.
No. It's almost like, okay, so if we are to assume that we are in like a simulation, it seems like this could be the complex framework to deal with the idea of the decision. Just to deal with the complexity of a decision and probability process.
How so?
It's like a way to create a framework for decisions to be possible.
Like free will?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if we're in a simulation, let's say a manifold was created like as a part of this computer highly complex computer simulation, what is the best and most efficient way to create like real like free probabilistic outcomes? It's probably something like this, that you create a framework for free decision making.
Yeah, so are you saying that the manifold is confirmation of free will?
Yeah, in a way. And it's also like an efficient program to create an infinite amount of decisions and outcomes.
Yeah, the manifold seems... It's weird because it seems to suggest free will because I could put my hand in front of the camera or I can't. And when I do, I enter a new Calabi manifold, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I could do like every decision, it's almost like the problem I run into with God. If God can do every decision, does he have free will? Right? So if you could see every outcome like that, do you have free will? And if everything we do enters a new manifold, but the old manifold, does the old manifold go away? Or does it stay? That's important.
I think a lot of string theory theorists think that it exists simultaneously in the middle of,
Then we almost have the same properties of God. We could see every outcome, That whole thing that we could see every outcome then. That whole thing that there's a me who's an Elon Musk and a you who's a, Cleopatra or something. That exists somewhere based on decisions. Not just of you, but of people before you and all, though they don't really exist, but let's pretend they did.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say they exist, because that's what everyone thinks.
Mm-hmm.
But all their decisions too.
Right.
Right. So all of that, somewhere in one of those Calabi manifolds, you're Cleopatra and I'm Elon Musk, and we're probably like married.